Welcome to the second episode of the No Scrubs podcast. I'm your host, Lewis, and joined with me today, my co-host, Stephen. How you going, Stephen?
I am doing pretty darn well.
Yep, doing better than you were on my first take of the intro?
Oh, more or less the same.
Cool, good to know.
I was kind of hoping that when we look back at it, maybe what I should have done is just gaslit you. It's like, you absolutely did not say join with me.
Yeah, I realised that at the last one I'd fucked it up, and then he made fun of me just then, and I was like, did I do it again? Did I fuck this up again? I first thought I'd leave it in, and I'm like, nah, I don't want this to become a thing. So here we are. You have a good Chrissy, mate?
I did. I had a nice and quiet one, and I did the tradition of I ate too much.
Yeah, I did the same. We had a Christmas at me Ma's. So it was myself, Alex, me ma, and he's a character who in our family is known as Gay Brian. So when my mum was having me, she's like, oh, I've been hanging out with my friend Brian. They're like, he's gay. And I'm like, it's just a woman thing. And the first 5 times she mentioned Brian, it's like, oh, did I mention that Brian's gay? I'm like, yes, you mentioned it so many times. I'm like, this isn't important. I'm like, it's fine. That's fine, Mum. Don't worry about it. So now it's become like a running joke. She's like, Brian. I'm like, who? She's like, Gay Brian. Oh, okay. And I'll just be oblivious to it until she says that. So yeah, that was good because he doesn't have any family in Christchurch anymore. So it was nice to see that. Spend a bit of time with him and give him somewhere to go on Christmas Day. He's pretty good at badminton, old Brian. And then went to shout out my boy Matt Code. Went to his place for a barbecue in the evening. So yeah, it was a full-on day. And then the next day I just needed to fucking relax.
Is it a like a very New Zealand thing, like barbecues for Christmas?
Yeah, because it's summer here, so a lot of people like your more wintry kind of meals and stuff and rugging up. Like my Christmas sweater was on for all of about 5 minutes, and I was like, it's too fucking hot.
If I can have a little whinge, the thing you probably needed your Christmas sweater for was Boxing Day. That was obnoxious. It pissed down. I was having to help customers with TVs, and I was getting pissed. I mean, pissed on.
Not customers?
Yeah, always.
Oh, no. There's terrible news, mate. Did you get anything? Any highlights? Any good little prezzies?
Oh, so what I loved about this Christmas was usually parents are just like, oh, what do you want for Christmas? And I was like, look, I'm a grown-ass man who can buy things for myself. You don't need to get me anything. But this time is different. It's, oh, so what do you want for Christmas? Like, honestly, get me socks, undies, and if you feel generous, some Steam vouchers.
Wicked. I mean, that's what I like about Christmas as well. It's like you buy these boring things. That means I don't have to buy them for myself for the most part, right? Because then you're like, oh, I've got to go buy some socks and undies. That fucking sucks. But just getting them, great. I don't have to spend the money on them. Yeah.
Did you get body wash packs when you were younger?
Yeah, I never got the Lynx Africa one though. I was never blessed enough to get the Lynx Africa body wash pack. So, really, I think what I'm saying is I was neglected as a child and really grew up in an abusive household, not getting Lynx Africa body wash. So,
I think we were ungrateful because I remember, I've gotten a Lynx body wash kit for Christmas, and I was like, oh, what? But then it's just like now it's just like, oh yeah, but when you come out of the shower, you do smell special. You smell good. You let the whole world around you know there's like this guy scrubbed thoroughly.
Oh, this scrub is well scrubbed.
Yeah. And we know scrubs.
Oh, it's the name of the show. Yeah, dude. That was actually what my partner's mum got me, was a bunch of like that kind of stuff as well, like clean, body wash and stuff like that. Also, by chance, she got the right type of shampoo. She got the right type of body wash. I was like, oh, did you do a bit of intel? She was like, I was supposed to, and I forgot. So Alex never gave her the intel, and she just fucking guessed and got all the right stuff that I use. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, Alex, she's got sensitive skin and stuff, so she has to use like certain. I can use this kind of shampoo and this kind of body wash and stuff like that. I'm like, I'll use whatever's in the fucking shower. But she happened to use the same shit. She got the same shit that I normally buy. So I'm like, oh, wicked. And I got some Pokemon cards, and Alex wrapped the packs individually because she's a menace. But it's pretty funny. Yep, 32-year-old man getting Pokemon cards, and I'm like fist pumping to myself. Like, yuck. We opened them before we left to Mars, so it was good shit. She got me some beard stuff because I'm hairy, and a little board game. So yeah, pretty good haul. Pretty good, Chrissy. No complaints from me.
Mm.
Well, actually, one complaint. No,
And it's huge.
It's fucking you, Stephen. So 2 weeks ago now, the Game Awards happened. And I just wanted to go over our own picks. I kind of talked about them a little bit last time, but just want to go over kind of what we thought were the highlights for us in a few different categories. We haven't gone super hard out on it, but just a few categories I'm going to talk about. So my personal picks for Game of the Year, I just wanted to rattle off 3. Because my number one is Astrobot, and how I talked about last time how I fucking adored it. Adored it. There we go, nailed it. All right, we're keeping that taken. That's fine. Yeah, it just absolutely adored Astrobot and just how great it was, and the Christmas. I'm not even a Christmassy person. Before I talked about my Christmas sweater as like a band Christmas sweater, so I'm not a very Christmassy person. I was playing that Christmas level, and I'm like, oh man, this is bringing me so much joy. It's so fucking good. Balatro will be my, the second 2 could be in either order, but Balatro I thought was just such a special game. Like, I was like, oh, it's special. It's if you haven't played it and I feel like Balatro is the kind of game as well. If you play it for an hour or 2 and you're not into it, it probably won't click. But for most people, in an hour or 2, you'll know if this is your type of game, and you'll be spending some serious time on it. So that game is great and would recommend to anyone, especially anyone who likes nerdy card games like I do. And the third one, which I don't feel like got enough love, Helldivers. I absolutely loved Helldivers. For the first 3 months of the year, that was the game I was putting a heap of time into. I was just wanting to play it every night. Like, I played a little bit of the first one back in the day, and then top down, and I liked what I played, but it was hard to get all the boys together and so on to get, have a good go of it. And then Helldivers 2, it was not hard to get all the boys together. I had people that were just online all the time, and it's so rare when this happens, like these days, being a grown-ass man and having, oh man, I've got more, like 2 lobbies of friends online. I'd even get people that would hit me up to be like, okay, do you want to jump on? And I'm like, I just jumped on with the other boys. Because it was a good social game for a bit too. So yeah, absolutely loved and still love Helldivers. I haven't played the new update, but I do plan on it sometime. I want to find out that. I know they're in the first one, but I want to start fighting that new race because they seem interesting. They seem like zombie-like, kind of little reminiscent of, in a way, the Flood from Halo. Just the way they kind of like taken over. Yeah, seems really cool. What about yourself, Stephen? What will be some of your picks, your personal picks for Game of the Year?
So I can understand, and I'd be behind Helldivers, because I remember, funny little thing, when we were doing our streams, it's like Lewis was like, "Oh, I reckon it'd be pretty special if we did Helldivers," and I was just like, "I don't know, man." Bills came through, and I was just like, pretty povo spec at the moment. Then Lewis comes through, it's like, hold on, I'll get it for you, just pay me back. And I was like, alright. And initially, I was just like, I don't know if this is my sort of game. But when the rhythm clicked, and we were able to just start wrecking shit, I was like, okay, I understand the appeal of this game.
Yeah, I feel like as well. You're very much a single player gamer,
Yeah.
especially these days, and I'm a lot more of a single player gamer than I used to be. Like, I go through different phases of it. I used to be a full multiplayer for just about everything, and then I've slowly become more single player as time's gone on. But it's the social shenanigans as part of Helldivers of like dropping a 500 kg bomb and sending your mate flying across the map and like ragdolling and just the shenanigans you can get up to with the boys.
Shooting the farting mushrooms for traversing reasons.
Yeah, yeah. I remember seeing something was happening. It was we were streaming. It was a clip we got of. We were doing something with me and DT having some kind of banter or something, and then there's you in the background bouncing off the farting mushrooms, just like. And that wasn't even the reason we clipped it, but I'm so glad that was in there. So.
The one thing I will say about Helldivers is definitely you need to have the reaction skills to react under stress because it is a totally different beast doing just regular missions, and then is it suicide missions?
Yeah, when you ramp the difficulty up.
There's like 3 fucking bile titans, and it's like, and then you're just getting reamed by these little dudes. It's a lot to take in, and a lot to like try to focus on.
Yeah, yeah, and you got to try to you're like trying to call in your 500 kg bomb, and you've got all these enemies on you, and you've got to do a little fucking like dance revolution inputs with your fucking hands. You're like up, down, left, right, up, left, and just try to fucking punch in the codes. I don't even remember what any of them are anymore. I'm sure the muscle memory's still there, but yeah, and you're trying to do that while being chased, and it's so difficult. But that's what I love about it. Like, I remember a mate was like, "Oh, we could do like macros for these," and I'm like, "Yeah, but it feels like it takes away from the game."
I got power leveled.
Power leveled?
I was
like, yeah.
I was the lowest level on my team, and I was playing with a workmate, and like they strat about it. I was like, "Don't worry, we'll power level you on this one," and it's one where it's basically the automatons are just sending buses. Dropping people. It's like, sweet, all you gotta do is just place your turret here, and just sit back and just let it happen. And I was like, oh wow, that actually worked. And I leveled up like 5 times.
No, those boys are min-maxing. I never min-maxed with it, but I just played it a lot in those first 3 months. What else have you got for your Game of the Year picks?
My Game of the Year pick? Oh, you know me. I still stand by it.
Rayman 2.
2! No, Infinite Wealth.
Did you manage to acquire the Infinite Wealth by the end of the game, or is it kind of like the
spoilers.
One Piece? It's the friends you made along the way.
Play the game. That's a great game.
It's Infinite Wealth of friends you made along the way. It makes sense.
Like, the reason why I wank off Infinite Wealth so much is because A, they made the transition into being like a brawler to turn-based really well, but also they have a goofy reason why they do it. Being in the Like a Dragon, they're just like, hey, how come you just wait for your opponent to attack? And he's just like, it's the gentleman thing to do. And he's like, it's also because I like to imagine I'm the hero in Dragon Quest.
Yeah, I love that as well. It's so funny that they're also gassing up a competitor's product. Like, being like Sega gassing up a Square Enix product, like hilariously, but it's amazing. It is really funny. That's the whole thing. He loves Dragon Quest so much. There's always like Dragon Quest like elements in there because the character loves Dragon Quest.
I also love that like archetype character where it's like a man who's in his like 40s and he's just like, no, I stand by my friends. He's like he's not dumb, but he's non-intellectual, but he's just like, yeah, no, these are good people, and I'll defend them to the end because of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think loyalty is a good quality to have. I mean, we saw that in Baldur's Gate 3 when I was loyal to some bad guys because they were good to us.
Yeah.
It's a quality that I have, unfortunately, like probably to a fault as well, of being like, as soon as like we're in some area in Baldur's Gate, there's some spider-like enemy who we're using his torch. We were, and he was like, "I'll take you through." We're like, "Oh, sweet as." And then there's a moment there to ambush him and kill him. And one of the guys was like, "Yeah, kill him!" And I was like, "Whoa, we're killing him. He's helping us out." Like, my mind is like, yeah, he's a bad guy, but he's, helping us out. So yeah, I'm easily taken advantage of by loyalty. So I can relate to that character. You stick by your boys. That's what I say. But in hindsight, Baldur's Gate, we made the right choice in killing that spider.
Yeah,
Fuck.
we did. Yeah, we did.
It was the right choice, but damn, that's not the choice I would have made. I would have made the wrong choice all fucking day.
Also, it makes sense for the fighting game of the year. Shout out Tekken.
Yeah. I didn't end up... there was a category I didn't end up putting on, but Tekken 8, absolutely. Without a doubt. What else came out this year in terms of fighting games? Because...
Giving a Google.
Oh, that's right. Our boy DT was like, Tekken 8 beat out Sparking Zero? And I'm like, yeah. As it should. I played both the games. I didn't finish everything in Sparking Zero because, first of all, the difficulty of some of those campaign missions is like really fucking hard when you get into it. I'm like, I was doing them, but I'm like, God damn, you didn't kill him quite fast enough, so you don't get to go to the secret mission. You're like, oh, fuck off.
I remember when we were blading Tekken 8. I didn't do it intentionally, but I got called out by you because I didn't realize like it's one of the mechanics where it's like I think if you hold like R2 and it will basically just do easy combos.
Oh yeah.
And then you just was like, I can see it's just like because it's something like a prompt will come up or something will show up on the screen that you're using those shortcuts, and you're like, "Oi!"
Yeah. Look, I can't stand for it. All right. I think it's worse than the simple controls in Street Fighter. You know, I think so because you just press square or something, and it will just do a 10-hit combo. And simple controls aren't as filthy, I think, as the Tekken ones.
Well, modern controls for Street Fighter the drawback is it does less damage than classic controls, but you also lose access to certain neutrals and normals.
Hey, do you actually do less damage in it?
Yep.
I had no idea about that.
Because it basically switches it to smash inputs.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So yeah, I had no idea. I just, even though I'm not great at Street Fighter, my inputs are my worst part. So modern controls would actually probably work better. I'm still like, nah, this is the way you play it. I just need to get better at classic controls. Like that's a me thing. That's a skill issue.
It's real funny because it would be very rinse and repeat when I'll be fighting either a Kami or a Ken on modern controls because they'll have the same combat flowchart combo routes.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, damn, they are really good with their input. And then I look, it's like, oh, they're using modern. That's quite easy to pull off on modern.
Yeah. It's interesting because accessibility is good, and I always stand by. I believe accessibility is good, but when you're playing like a fighting game, it just feels kind of weird when you're like, man, why am I doing all this extra work to pull this shit off, and they can just do this so easy because of a control scheme. It just feels weird to me. I don't know.
It like I'll always use classic controls, but I reckon modern is good if you want to just focus on your reaction times, because I imagine it'd be quite daunting for if you're new and like, okay, so this person is gonna shimmy towards me. It's like, cool, I'm going to quickly do a crouching mid kick, cancel it onto the like 38th frame on this one. Cool, they're at a disadvantaged frame. I'm gonna drive rush into that. And it's like just memorizing that, but also memorizing your quarter circles, your half circles, your Shoryuken inputs. It's like if you aren't comfortable with that, but you've got really good reaction time, it's like that's fine.
So it's for the Zoomers, you're saying?
Essentially.
All right. On to the next category, we've got a best indie, which of course I've given to Balatro. I definitely swear it's a must play. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I was definitely addicted to it for a couple of weeks and had to kind of almost wean myself off it. But now I can play it a lot more casually, which is nice. Just do a run every now and again. What about yourself? Indie pick of the year for you?
Indie pick?
Hmm.
That's a good one. Because I haven't really dabbled that many indie games, but I will say, just because of like, I'll probably pick Balatro as well because of one reason. I was at work the other day, and a guy, one of the boys I was talking to, he's just like, "Yeah, man, I just got Balatro for as a Christmas present, like on Steam." It's like I don't even like card games, and I enjoy it. And I was like, fair.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's masterful design in it. I mean, I got Alex on it as well. She's not really a card game player. She did actually play it a little bit in Dave the Diver and thought it was cool. And then I got her to play the full thing through like Steam sharing, and she was hooked on it as well for a couple of weeks. So it's just super addictive, and the way that the visual design of the game, like when you have enough on one hand to win like the fire and stuff and the sound effects and just hearing the shuffling and everything, it's just great sound design, great visual design. It's perfect.
I do have an honorable mention for indie game though,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the game Mouthwashing.
Oh yeah, I've heard a lot of good things. I just, before you say anything, don't spoil it.
No. But the thing that I was just like, well, sort of sucked me in a bit was the art style. Because if you've ever played, if you've ever played,
Let's not do this.
if you've ever played like the series Mega Man Legends, it has that like low poly look to it, but it's done the intentional low poly, but with like I don't want to say modern day, but it's just like they did the low poly approach, but made it more stylized.
Yeah. So you're
And
saying it's a low poly style with more poly.
yeah.
Yeah. No,
So,
I get it. There's a lot of that aesthetics in at the moment, like Crow Country, for example. You know, they're like trying to make it look like a PS1 kind of Resident Evil like game, but you look at it and you can tell it's trying to look old, but you can tell it's much higher poly than the games of that era. But yeah, I like that aesthetic, but it's because people that grew up playing with those type of games are now in their late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, some of them as well, that we're just super nostalgic for that. So that works really well because that's where a massive amount of gamers are. So Alex didn't grow up playing, just trying to fucking take shortcuts, merging words together. She didn't grow up playing PS1 games, so when she sees PS1 games, she goes, "Oh," like she doesn't like the aesthetic. So yeah, but I know Mouthwashing, I've heard nothing but good things. I've heard people say it might be actually the best written game of the year as well. They said
well,
the writing's incredible, the dialogue's great, like just all round amazing.
that's the one thing I will say is like just if you're gonna play it, go in blind.
Yeah.
Also, another, as this is an older game, but another game that sort of nails that aesthetic. It's like we're a modern game using that sort of style from back in the day. Did you hear of a game called like Frog Gun?
Sounds familiar.
You got a gun that's frog shaped.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it now. Oh, dude. I love the look of that. It's got big, like, N64 energy. Oh, dude, I'm fucking adding that to my Steam wish list right now.
You are welcome.
And I'm like, oh, it's on there. No, it's not. We were just talking about before. It's like, this happens to me all the fucking time, though. Steven's like, have you seen this game? And I'm like, no. And then he talks about it. I'm like, that sounds awesome. I look at it. It's already on my Steam wish list. I don't remember the name of them, but I will just remember the style. Yeah, that Frog Gun looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That early like 3D platformer style. That's my shit right there. There's Frog Gun Encore as well. What is this?
Shout out to low poly games, but also cel shading.
We do a little cel shading. Yeah, cel shading when done right, can look really good, and games can age really well in that style. And this is my favorite example of this. I remember seeing screenshots from cutscenes of Final Fantasy X in a magazine, and I was like, holy shit, these characters look real. And that's so funny now because those characters don't look anywhere near fucking real at all. But that's just, what we thought at the time. Like, you watch a animated show or movie in the 90s and you see the stuff, you're like, oh my god, this looks amazing. And then you watch it now and you're like, dude, this looks fucking terrible. So, yeah, it's funny how far we've come. But the stuff that this is how I feel about this. Is a completely separate topic, but it's art direction versus hyper realistic graphics. Just the stuff that is stylized ages way better than hyper realism, like always. I remember Siphon Filter on the PS1. When I saw that as a kid, I thought that looked amazing. I thought that game looked so like one of the best looking games I'd seen at the time. I was like, holy shit. That game looks terrible now. But you look at Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, 3, like one's aged the worst, like aesthetically, but you look like Crash 3, still looks really good because it's stylized game. You look at Spyro, it still looks great in my opinion. Yes, now you got the remasters. The remasters look a shitload better, and that's just how it is. But it's because it's stylized. You're not going for the hyper realism. It always ages better. So, yeah, I think that a lot of those PS3 era games, the ones that weren't stylized, like most of them look like crap. The Last of Us still actually looks pretty good, to be fair. Push the PS3 to its limits, but a heap of those games that were for the hyper realism on the PS3 era look horrid now. But then Ratchet and Clank still looks fucking great on there. So, yeah, I imagine we're probably not that far from that point now. But there's still a little bit of uncanny valley. Like watching Secret Level that we'll get to a little bit. One of them, we looked at it and be like, is this animated? Like, and you'd see these cars and stuff. You're like, they look real. And then you see the people, and you can tell there's still a little bit of just this little bit of uncanny valley. You're like, okay, they're animated. It's not that they looked bad, but just when you see people, and you could just tell. But the cars, I was like, this looks fucking real. Like, so, yeah. But how did we get here from best indie? It's crazy. I'm just
before we shuffle on from that. You know how we would look at, say, Final Fantasy X, like Tita's coming out of the water. It's like, wow, that's so cool. Like those are next gen graphics. The closest thing I think we ever saw that in like movie form was, do you remember Final Fantasy: The Spirit Within?
Yes. I watched that back at my old mate Julian, back at his house years ago, and I'd played Final Fantasy VII, and I watched that movie, and I was like, "What the fuck? Where's my boy Cloud?"
Yeah.
Like, it's the only one I'd played, so I was expecting them to all be about those characters, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So, yeah,
Came out 2001.
damn.
Damn. And apparently it took so, like, one of the biggest, the thing that took the longest was just the strands of hair for the main character.
That's a very Square Enix thing as well.
Buckles and
The
hairs, zips and
hair,
hairs.
hair physics and stuff like that. Even though it was the Western Studios at the time, but when they bought Tomb Raider, there was that NVIDIA hair physics. I remember when Sean was trying to play it on a laptop, and it was just struggling. And then mate Jordan looked at the settings. He was like, "Nah, mate, fucking turn off the NVIDIA hair physics." He gained like double his fucking frames. It still didn't run great, but it's so funny that the hair physics was just tanking the frame rate. Like, wild. But yeah, Square Enix have always cared a lot about that. Though sometimes in what was that Horizon Zero Dawn, Aloy's hair physics is just fucked, and you're in a cutscene and hair's just like fucking just flopping around, and you're like, what is going on? Yeah, some wild shit. So, biggest surprise of the year. So, the biggest surprise for me was Helldivers. The game had no hype. I feel like Sony didn't market it at all. And then it came out, and I was just seeing clips of it. Because at the time, I was like, because in New Zealand it was about $70. I was like, fuck, I'm not going to drop $70 on this game. And then I was talking about it with some mates, and they're like, I'll get it if you get it. And I'm like, oh, dude. I was like, fuck it. I was like, I don't have $70 to drop right now, but fuck it, I'm going to buy it. And yeah, it was really caught me by surprise. Helldivers 2, just how good it was, especially if it was not really on my radar at all. I wasn't super interested, and then it came out and it was fucking massive. So that's the game that surprised me the most this year. I mean, Astrobot surprised me as well. Balatro, all of those really did catch me by surprise. But Helldivers was a game I didn't think I would be getting into as much as I did.
If I could piggyback off that, is as sort of
Choose your own answer.
No, it had the sort of, at least to me, it had the same thing of like Hi-Fi Rush. I saw no hype for it, and it was literally word of mouth. He was like, "You should check out Helldivers." And I was just like, Helldivers 2. It was like, what the hell was this? And then when we booted up,
in defense of Hi-Fi Rush, they shadow dropped that. I think it was at the Game Awards last year, maybe. They were just like, "Oh, by the way, and it's out," or something, and people were like, "What?"
That's kind of cool.
I think that was how it's done. Either that, or they were just like, "Here's a trailer, game's out," something like that. But yeah, so Helldivers, I don't know why Sony just wasn't marketing it. I just don't think they believed in it. It took forever. They had a long development cycle. They completely remade the game they started work on it again, like to completely redo what they'd done, because there was a leaked trailer from it from some time ago, and the game looked very, very different from then. But yeah, like how they were like, Concord's going to be a big thing, and we'll talk about Concord a little bit too. But like, Concord's going to be a big thing. Look, here's the Concord controller. Helldivers didn't get a controller. Helldivers got no marketing. Concord got pushed fucking everywhere and still flopped. And I think it just shows you that a good game will generally just win out over anything else. So yes.
See, and also, it sort of goes to show, it's like you can push out and market your game, and like the studio and publisher can be like, "This is our big game. We have controllers. We have this." Like, but at the end of the day, it's like people are going to flock to a well-made game with a rewarding playstyle loop.
Yeah, the rewarding gameplay loop. That's what people want.
Very simian brained, where it's just like, feel good. This feels good to win.
Feel good. Yeah, absolutely. I guess as well though for Hi-Fi Rush, it got no marketing, and it didn't do real well, but it did well with the word of mouth. A lot of people were talking about it after a while, but yeah, it's interesting that they Microsoft be like, no, we don't have a big presence in Japan. Let's sell our one Japanese studio, or sorry, let's shut down our one Japanese studio. It's not just about the pure profit. You want to be able to break into the Japanese market, but then you shut down your one studio. I understand business wise. Here's a studio that's losing money, right? Business wise, shut it down. But you're looking at the long game of trying to build out and sell in Japan. So why not lose a little money there to try to capture the Japanese audience? I think they gave up too quickly, really. Also amazing that a horror studio then put out the most like fucking feel good game on their platform. So, yeah. Shout out to them. Shout out to Hi-Fi Rush, and they managed to get the rights to Hi-Fi Rush, so they're working on a sequel.
Oh.
Now that they're open again. I think independently, I can't remember if they were bought. Oh, they might have been bought out. Who owns Tango? Krafton. So these are the guys that own. They own PUBG, and it looks like they actually are owned by the biggest shareholder is Tencent. Krafton. But yeah, best known for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I think they also own the studio that made that Dead Space spiritual successor that didn't do too well.
Callisto Protocol?
Yeah. I played a little bit of it. I had a mate buy it for me. I wasn't feeling it at the time, but I do want to try it again. I do want to give it another go. It didn't seem like it was bad. I think when I gave up, there was an area in the game that they were like, oh, look at these smoke effects, and tanked my frame rate so bad. Yeah, but
if I could share a little bit of a tidbit of Dead Space, because I watched my mate play it for PS3 and then play the remake. I remember he was up to a scene we was playing in PS3, and he's like, "Oi, watch this scene." And it's the one where there's like a massive laser, and you've got to laser your own cornea. It's a part of your eye, Lewis.
Look, I know, I'm aware.
And he's like, "Now watch me fuck this up." Does something, and the thing just comes crashing down, smashing through his skull. And I was like, "That's quite unnerving."
It's Dead Space 2. Yeah, you gotta get the needle in your eye, and it's like a mini game of, because Xbox 360, PS3 era, where they love doing stuff like that. And I actually think it's good. It's engaging, but you got the needle right, and the needle keeps kind of moving around a little bit. And you're trying to like poke it in your own fucking eye, and if you miss, it just goes fucking bam. It is brutal, but I fucked it up on purpose because I wanted to see the animation, because I'm like, what happens? It's pretty horrid, but yeah, I love Dead Space. It's such a shame that they're not going ahead with Dead Space 2 remake, because Dead Space remake was fucking superb. It's perfect.
But I also love it when like real like gory games, they'll have like take the piss stuff in, like Mortal Kombat 2 to counteract the gore and the controversy around it. They had like fatalities called friendship.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they did it in Dead Space 2, the original. You can unlock a gun where the character, when he's holding it, he's literally just saying bang, bang, pew pew.
Yeah, the handgun. It's one of those giant foam hands, I think.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to, beat the first game only using the plasma cutter, which, to be fair, is the best weapon in the game. I think that was how you got it, but it's been a while.
A hot minute.
Hot minute. So best soundtrack. So as much as I want to give an honourable mention first of Tekken 8, because the Tekken soundtrack is so fucking good, and they remade Jin's Tekken 3 theme. They brought it back in a fight. Whatever reason, isn't on the fucking album for the soundtrack when they released it, which is bullshit. But that soundtrack's so good. I could just imagine just fighting someone outside of fucking Waffle House, in a Waffle House car park to that soundtrack. That's how good it is. But for me, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, as much as I did enjoy the game, but I did think it was overrated. Definitely not in my pick for Game of the Year. Their soundtrack is so good because they did over 400 songs for it. Some of them are remixes and so on, and a lot of them are like, reimaginings and new arrangements of existing songs and stuff. But fucking 400 songs in that game, and so many of them are good. And there's a side quest where you've got a dog. I think his name is Salmon. And there's a song that plays for him, and it's the only place in the game it plays for this little side quest. You're like, what the fuck? And it's great. It is a remix, that one, but dude, 400 fucking songs in a game, and so many of them are just excellent. Yeah, that's, I think, the best part about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The soundtrack was phenomenal. And the combat was actually really good too. It's just a bit too bloated.
You put it really well when we talked about it. It's like a game that sort of trips over itself or gets in its own way.
Yeah, it just can't get out of its own way enough. You could cut out 40 hours out of that game, and I would probably say it'd be phenomenal. May have even been in my running a Game of the Year, but there was another 40 hours of that game that I felt like I was just trudging through. So, but yeah, soundtrack absolutely superb. Couldn't recommend that enough. What about you, Stephen? What grabbed your attention?
I'm gonna say Tekken and Infinite Wealth for best soundtrack. The thing is, with my monkey brain when it comes to Tekken, I would literally be satisfied because they've always had banger soundtracks. But I don't ask for much. I would just be happy if just all the music was just a loop of Tekken Tag 2 character selection screen. Because that song still goes fucking hard.
It's great. I still think, other than maybe Tekken 8, Tekken Tag 2 might be my next favourite Tekken game as well. That game's so good. Oh man, we got Jinpachi as well. Yeah. Tekken Tag 2, what a game. What a soundtrack.
Well, also what I want to say about like the Infinite Wealth music is they did the thing of what Like a Dragon, the previous game, did is so the main fight scene music in Like a Dragon is called Yokohama Crack House, and I can't remember what the Infinite Wealth fight music is, but it gets you just amped.
She pumped up for a scrap.
Yeah, it just got that dirty electronic. I'm pretty sure it's like borderline dubsteppy in Infinite Wealth, and I was like, damn, I feel like I can punch the sun to this soundtrack.
And the next game is Azura's Wrath, where you literally punch the sun. I don't know. I don't think you do, but God,
Someone presses the planet with their finger, and you hold it up.
That's the iconic scene, eh? And he's like pressing his finger, and you're like holding it. Like, it's absurd. It's absurd.
You get so angry, you grow a second pair of arms.
Look, I'm hoping one day I get that angry, but it hasn't happened yet. We're getting close though. What do you mean they're doing another remake of The Last of Us?
No one knows why you're so angry, but they know you're angry because your hair and beard are white, and you just have like 6 arms just coming out.
Oh, something's made him mad today.
Yeah, it's like what's up, big guy? And you're like, don't want to talk about it.
The Last of Us 1 remake.
You're so mad that your extra arms are doing like set of arms is covering your mouth, the other one's covering your eyes, the other one's covering your ears.
Yeah, one set of hands for each sense being covered.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. So, do you have any more to say on the soundtrack there for Infinite Wealth?
No. But
I don't, but I do.
all I can say is the main track that comes to mind is the fight music. And also, like, coupled together with, like, the Hawaiian backdrop, play it. It's a great game. It's my game of a lifetime.
Game of a Lifetime Award.
Yeah.
Lifetime Achievement Award for Infinite Wealth from Stephen.
I only get them out once a lifetime.
Damn. And next year he's got to get that a new one. Just you fucking wait. And it'll be to another RGG game.
Yeah.
Surely. All right. Best anime game. I actually just added this one in last minute. I do think Sparking Zero deserves some praise. Soundtrack as well is great. The presentation is great. It is very much a Tenkaichi game, so the game feels a little dated. You know, there's this problem that I also have with games, and it's like you're like, oh, I want the game to be exactly as it was, and then you get the game that is exactly as it was. They actually did add quite a bit, but then I'm like, actually, this isn't quite what I wanted. They did it with the Diablo 2 remake, and it was like, you can't fuck with Diablo 2, mate. You have to make that game exactly as it was, and then you get it, and you're like, actually, so the quality of life things would have been better in this. Like, I know this is just stubborn, stupid gamer mindset, but I am willing to admit when I'm wrong in these cases. I would have liked a little more Sparking Zero, but overall, it's still a really, really good game. I really enjoyed my time with it. I got a lot of nostalgia for it. I'm like, here's my best anime game. Proceeds to shit on it. No, it's not. It's not what it is. It's not how it is. But no, it is actually excellent. And if you love Dragon Ball and you love the Tenkaichi games, the PS2 era Dragon Ball Z games, you'll have a blast with it. Not a raging blast though. That game was crap. Sparking Zero, yeah, definitely recommend if you like those kind of arcade. Let's say arcade arena fighters. If you like arena fighters and you like Dragon Ball, and it's a real visual spectacle. Just game looks excellent. So.
One game that I do on the anime side that I do want to put a little bit of a spotlight on. So there's this series that it has a dumb name, especially when you have to correct people on it. It's a series called Ys, spelled Y-S.
No, that's just...
Yeah, yes. But, so, we're catching up to the Japanese releases. Like, their latest game, Ys 10, was released in Japan 2023, but we only got an English release of it this year in October. And the Ys series has always been like the action JRPG. Like, it started off top down thing with a thing called a bump combat, where you have to like walk at the opponent on a certain angle. But as time went on, they just went, okay, we're just going to make it like action RPG. But now, a couple of entries later, they've gone like full 3D, and with this one, they have nautical combat, which is dope. It's very, it reminds me of a less sluggish version, maybe a little bit more simplified version of the Assassin's Creed Black Flag ship combat.
Yeah, sorry, I thought there was more.
Oh, and then there's the thing about this game is like, this is a dope entry for anyone who wants to get into the series, because it's not looking as rough visually. It still looks like it's quite behind on huge releases, but open world. It's got a cool cast of characters. The combat system is pretty nice. Your two people but you're sort of chained together by magic, and you can switch between the characters, or you hold down a button, and the two sort of come together, and you can do combined attacks. And it's just, I feel sometimes when there's not niche games, but games that don't get enough love, they'll release that game that will have the wider appeal, and it will be a lot of people's first like entry to it. And I think with Ease 10, I think that's going to be for people who want to dabble. That's going to be like their entry to it, which there's nothing wrong with that because it's a solid 8.5 game, and that's nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just having a look. I was like, I know I've played one of them. So about 9.5 years ago, I played East Origin
Oh,
for about 5 hours. I achieved very little in the game, but it didn't really hit for me. But I gave it a go. So also, that's a long time ago. Sounds like the games have evolved quite a lot since then. Yeah, I do remember playing it. I didn't mind it. Yeah, so shout out to East, and hopefully we can continue to see them improve and grow. I was going to say, yeah, I think it's really good when studios do that though. So you've got all these historic games, and then you put out like, I mean, my example, of course, it's going to be Elden Ring. Elden Ring is the most accessible of the Souls games, those style of From Software games. Still pretty fucking hard, but that sold more than the other games. Well, I know it sold more than Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 combined, at least. So,
do you reckon that's also for the fact of like people now know of it because of it's going to sound like a wank term, but like the legacy games or the games that came before it, and it's just like I've always wanted to get into the series, and I know that or the Soulsborne games are known to be hard, and then a lot of people see like the new shiny and polished version. It's like, nah, I'm going to give this a shake.
I think there's a bit of that. I think as well, the human monkey brain sees open world, and they're like, finally, and that's appealing for people. I always find, I generally, which is hilarious, is now an open world game being my favorite game ever. I generally don't like open world because there's usually just less to do in a bigger space. Well, not even less to do. It's just there's the same amount of things to do, but it's spread out further. And I normally like a little bit of direction, and then Elden Ring, it's like, here you go. And I just absolutely loved just being able to like, just there's so much like just to explore and find yourself, and it feels so rewarding finding things yourself with them giving you very little. So I think that was also a thing for people. I think because there was so much hype around it as well, it was just that game that was in the zeitgeist, and people were just so many eyes on it, and then people were like, this is really fucking good. I think people just were like, fuck, I'll give it a go. I know as well the streamer was at Kai Cenat. I don't think he moved the needle in terms of sales like a crazy amount, but I think he made probably some amount of, got a lot of people talking about it. And that was his first Souls game, and he fucking loved it. He couldn't sing his praises enough. Said it was the best game he'd ever played. So, yeah, it hit the mainstream like the other games hadn't. Like I played from the second release, Dark Souls, right? So I didn't play Demon Souls when it came out. I didn't play Dark Souls when it came out, but I played it a little bit later. And then I got Dark Souls 2 on launch. So I was there from, still somewhat early. And with each release, there's been a little more hype around them. Like every single release, there's just a little more hype. So, yeah. So we might even see this might be the start of, Ace into the mainstream. Who knows?
One thing I will say about open world is, I felt that Tears of the Kingdom did it pretty well, but there have been like games where it's just like it is open world, so barren. But what a mechanic that I would 100% get behind is if the game recognizes or gets the feeling that you haven't moved from the certain radius, it gets the feeling that, oh, this player's lost. And sort of a nudge in the right direction of where to go is, I would love it if someone could just put in the game just, the Beyond Chicken soy jack of the guy's
Yeah.
pointing, just have that flash on screen for like 3 seconds in the way that you're meant to go.
Uh, so I feel like take a page out of Ghost of Tsushima's book and just have like Ghost of Tsushima. You set the waypoint and then I think you swipe up on the touchpad and then the wind blows in that direction, which is cool. But if you just find the player's lost, just have the wind like after a certain point like blow in a certain direction or something like that, right? Or also Ghost of Tsushima have like a bird that's flying around that leads you to something, or a fox, or like a little animal, or like anything. I feel like there's ways that you could guide the player that way. Like there's ways that they do it with lighting, and they light up certain items as well to be like to catch your attention. So you go, oh, I'll go over there. Like so, 90% of people who played Breath of the Wild, because I actually thought the open world design and stuff in Breath of the Wild was also really good. Some people said they thought it was a bit too barren. I actually really liked it. I thought I still had shitloads to do. You see something in the distance, you're like, fuck, I'm going over there. But Breath of the Wild managed to guide people to that like fish village. I don't know how they did it, but 90% of players ended up there as their first major like area they went to. So there's a lot of clever stuff there at play that you might not realize the game is manipulating you or moving you in a direction that you weren't aware of.
There was one game I can't remember for the life of me, but their way of getting on track was just like, oh, if you're lost, press like a menu button, and the camera will literally just shunt it in the direction of where the objective is.
Yeah, that could be good as well. Dead Space did one where you have a little laser that you press like something on the D-pad and it points a little laser and goes an arrow that goes across the ground, little like sci-fi one. You're like, oh, that actually makes sense. Like you've added it. You probably have your character probably has a map or something of the ship and then put a little waypoint, and now this is like attached to their suit in a way. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Clever in-world ways to do it. I think it's a really cool idea when people lose their way.
I still stand by my Beyond Chicken idea though. Yeah.
We do a little soy jacking. Well, hey now. So most anticipated game of 2025. So mine's an obvious choice after gassing up Elden Ring when we're talking about something else entirely. It's Elden Ring Night Rain. I think it looks super interesting. I don't think it's going to be a From Software masterpiece like most of their games are, and they've slapped Elden Ring name on there, but it looks really interesting to have, it's 1 to 3 players. Well, 1 or 3 players, because they said, can you play 2-player? No. Okay, what the fuck? From Software they make some fucking weird decisions. I think there's a whole thing, I think, that I have with a lot of these things of like, the reason that they are so good is they make, for these great decisions they make with this stuff, they also make some fucking dumb decisions. I just think you got to have both. I think you don't have one without the other. So, yeah, Elden Ring Night Rain, which is a 1 to 3 player, or sorry, once again, 1 or 3 player Elden Ring, where it's almost battle royale esque. This has got the community completely divided. Where drops you in an area, you go kill some dudes, you go loot some items, and then a Fortnite like fucking ring starts coming in, and then in the middle of that ring is a boss. So far we've seen bosses from Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 as well in screenshots, like the Centipede Demon, there's a Duke's Dear Frey, which is a big old fucking spider, and the Nameless King, who fucking rules. Love that fight. That's my goat right there, that dude. So they're taking stuff from all the other Souls games as well, and you have to survive 3 nights, essentially, which is 3 bosses, and I imagine it's bigger and bigger bosses at the end of each night. and just to see if you can get through. And it's more souls. I'm very much looking forward to it. It looks like it's not full price. Yeah, 3 Nights at Freddy's. That's what they're called. Freddy Fazbear's final boss.
Mm.
But very much up my alley. I happen to have 2 other friends that would be super into this idea as well. So that is great. We've got our squad of 3. I'm pumped. I'm pumped for it. What about you, Stephen? Most anticipated? Well, you see this IGG game's looking really good.
How'd you know? Well, the thing is, I don't know if we have a release date on Project Century.
Yeah.
But game I'm looking forward to is Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
I can't believe that's the real name. It sounds so fucking dumb, but it's so good.
Well, and another reason like I'm hyped for it is because they get like a badass psychotic character like Majima, and it works because he's like in the games he has an eye patch and it's like, okay, he's gonna be a pirate. That's awesome. But it's also still taking place in around the time of Infinite Wealth because most of that takes place on Hawaii. But the other reason why like I'm locked in, not dilly-dallying about it, is ever since Like a Dragon or Yakuza 7, they was like, hey, going forward, we're going to be doing turn-based. But then they had a spin-off series called Lost Judgment, and that was going to retain the brawler aspects. Like that was going to feel more like old school Yakuza. Due to a funny little thing, they capped the spin-off at 2 games. So it's cool that they're still going to be doing brawler, but even this looks less of a brawler and more like a hack and slash. Like it has Devil May Cry air combos. It's cool that they've still got like, and in their own like funny RGG way, like real, what's the word I'm looking for? Outrageous, goofy, in their own like goofy way. They're still able to continue a franchise where they'll have like, I imagine there were a couple of people who'd be like, I love Yakuza, but I don't really care for turn-based.
There were a lot, actually. There were a lot.
They still have that a way to like accommodate those fans who was like, no, I like them as an action game. It's like, well, we still can, and it's a pirate.
Yeah, and it's good to use established characters and lore and assets.
Yeah,
they love reusing. But the thing is, man, you make an asset, that shit's good for a long time. I'm for it. I'm absolutely for it. Reuse everything you want, and then put out these games that are still super high quality because you've done so much of the fucking groundwork already. So let's go. Like I'm all for it. I tried to play one of the ones that was on Game Pass, one of the Yakuza games, or Like a Dragon, and it didn't hit for me. But I'm still so happy to see their success because they just keep putting out quickly but high quality products. Their product is super high quality, is super well made, well regarded and stuff, and the turnaround is so quick. You're like, how the fuck do you guys do this? And so much of it is reusing assets, which is great.
The fact that the spin-off is coming out, the pirate spin-off is coming out February next year.
Yeah It's crazy. I imagine that their release cadence will slow down at some point, but right now, no, they're killing it. You'd love to see it.
They're creeping up to be like one of my favorite like developers.
Yeah. I imagine they've got probably, because they're probably more like, I guess they're not, okay, because who publishes them now? Is it Sega?
Yes.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even though they're almost like, RGG I imagine has a lot of internal teams. Because you couldn't be one team working on all these games and just getting them out so quick. But they almost sound like they're a publisher in a way, you know, even though they're being published by Sega. Because it's just RGG is probably like 3 teams, I'd assume, because they're also doing Virtua Fighter.
Yeah, and the cool thing is they're taking their time with Virtua Fighter.
Yeah, because they're the ones that ported ported 5, and then they had to remake a whole lot of stuff for 5 because they wanted to. That's why they got the project, because they were like, we're up for it. We can do a new one. And then Sega was like, how about we get you to port this one and redo this and everything, and let's see how it goes, because you haven't made a full-on fighting game before. I mean, understand the Yakuza mechanics and stuff, they kind of play a little fighting game-ish anyway. So you can see that studio being good at it. But yeah, I think that was the right choice to be like, let's not throw you in the deep end yet. Let's get you that bit of experience doing it, and then you can do a new one. So
would it be a report when for what they did with Virtua Fighter 5, because they released it on like PS4 and stuff, but now they've got Revo coming out, which is basically the Steam version, but they remade the mechanics using the RGG engine.
Yeah,
still count as a port?
It kind of is more probably closer to a remake, because there's some things. So I don't have a complete in-depth insight into game engines, but my understanding is some things can be brought over from one engine to another, and you can tweak them. Some things just won't do it. So I feel like they probably had to remake a heap of it. They still had a lot of the. They had all the what is the source code? They had all the source code and everything there, so it's probably a lot easier to do than. Not saying it's easy, but a lot easier to do than from scratch. They would have just had to remake the entire thing. So I don't think it was the same as remake it entirely, but they probably had to remake a heap of it. They're just like, this shit ain't fucking working. Let's redo this part of it. So yeah, it's still a massive undertaking, but yeah, massive of them. I feel like it's going to be the best Virtua Fighter ever. I really think it will be this one that they make.
Shout out to them, because they're like, you know, we're taking this time, we're taking our time with this, because we were like the granddads of 3D fighters, but they acknowledge it's like, you know, we want to be going up against Street Fighter and Tekken, and the way that like they've been able to keep themselves like relevant in the fighting scene by doing their own thing. And it's just like we want to go toe to toe with those studios. Like, we want to be taken as a little bit of a threat to the fighting game. We want to be a household name, so we're going to take our time.
Just like you, Stephen. They just want to be taken seriously.
That's the one. And they probably have a better chance of being taken seriously than Moi.
I don't know, mate. It is Virtua Fighter at the end of the day. No, I wish them nothing but success. I'm looking forward to seeing that when it's ready. We have a special guest.
Oh,
up.
Who it do?
Is he coming up? Oh, there he is. Oh, come here, up. Keith, up, come on. There we go. Hey,
good
look at this handsome boy. Look at him.
Goodest boy.
Good boy. Wheel fell off my chair. This is going to be happening every episode. What a little treat. All right, we have one more category, and that is what was the game you played most on Game Pass? So this is an objective one. So this one couldn't be subjective. So mine was Black Ops 6. I was surprised. In a short period of time, I put fucking 90 hours into that game, playing with the boys, playing zombies. It was great, man. Yeah, I really think that Call of Duty is back with this one. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Have pretty much only positive things to say about it. I hadn't played Call of Duty in a while. It'd been years at this point, so I was just pleasantly surprised at how good it was. I didn't play the campaign. That's on brand for me. But yeah. What about yourself? Do you know what your most played was, or if you don't know, take a
Well,
stab in the dark.
the game that gripped me like for
Oh,
quite a time,
we don't grip you.
where it counts, and
Oh,
that's
nice.
on the joystick. No, it's Sifu. And the thing that I liked about it is it helped me iron out some real bad habits on why I would not be able to stick to Souls likes and stuff. Is that I always want to get greedy. I always want to go on the offense, and when I do go on the offense, I get too greedy. Like playing Sifu, I remember getting up to one of the bosses, and he has a giant stick, and I was like, I can't beat him. Two whacks and I'm dead. But then after each, because you die, you come back older and you start again. And then as you age progress, like if you start getting up to your 50s, the downside is you have less health than in your 20, but your damage input is slightly better. But I was doing runs where I was like, I don't want to be an old man. So if I died like more than three times, like nah, restarting. But
Yeah.
helps with combat pattern recognition and when to open them up. Like he'll swing his stick at me. It's like okay, dodge left, dodge right. He might slam it down, so you might want to jump out of the way and then just do a little jab. Jab as much as you can when you can. Don't go just for heavy combos because there's a chance he's going to get stunned. And once you stun him, then you start laying in like a couple of heavy combos. So I thoroughly enjoyed Sifu. How can you
Yeah.
iron out my kinks?
Oh. Yeah, I've heard it's great, and that's also Stephen's pick for the next section. But we'll get. I
Mm.
guess we've done that for you. So that was your most played or your most enjoyed on Game Pass,
Most
but also your Smash or Game Pass pick.
Ooh, so a Smash or Game Pass pick is leans a little bit into the cozy realm. And it was a mate who got me into this. Is a game called Core Keeper,
Oh,
where
I thought you had Sifu on as your Smash or Game Pass.
I just wanted to give this one a little bit of a shout out.
Okay, we'll do that as well. Cool. Well, yeah, go for it.
So basically, Core Keeper is like it's one of those games where I probably wouldn't enjoy this if I was playing it by myself. But Core Keeper basically thinks Stardew Valley, but you are underground, and we would have like we'll do hours where we're basically just learning the landscape. We realized that so many kilometers this way is like a resource rich place, so we'll set up like a mining facility to just drill it, and then we'll be also be setting up like a mine cart so we can just zoom to it, pick it up, smelt it. It's a good game to play with friends, Core Keeper. I think you can play up to four people. But
So, so most comparable to Stardew, were you saying?
yeah,
Yeah,
especially because it's pixel art.
wicked.
But actual Smash or Game Pass is this. I'm gonna smash this bit of hair soon. Um, Sifu, like again, it helped me find out why I would I'd be quite the suck when it comes to like those games that are known to be difficult, and I get too greedy. Um, it's also the combat's also real satisfying when you're not getting wailed on because someone's trying to wail on you. You can either dodge or you can just open them up with a parry, and you can parry, open them up, push them to another person, and you also have you have these skills, and they're not instant kills, but basically, and it uses up, I think it's called like focus meter, where you hold down a trigger, it slows down time slightly, no, it slows down by a fair bit, but what it is you can unlock skills. Like one of them is just a mean leg sweep. So that opponent's on the ground. That means you can get in some damaging free hits, but you also can't abuse it. And also, you have to scroll through the wheel to choose that skill, and just remember that there's 5 guys trying to come at you at once.
Trying to what at you?
Come at ya.
Oh.
At.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Yeah,
The art style's also real cool.
it seems like it's very much up my alley as well. I need to play Sifu at some point.
It's very U-coded.
Yeah, it's got some Souls-like qualities. It's got some fighting game qualities. It looks fucking awesome. And we will talk about a little bit more about seafood. Seafood? Jesus Christ.
What's
So I'm having having a good old crab cook up tonight at my place, mate. Come round to Redacted. Yeah, seafood looks fucking awesome. It looks very, very much worthwhile playing, and I actually own it on Steam, so I won't even be playing it on Game Pass. But very much a smash from me on that. So my pick for special Game Pass this week, it's an easy one. I won't actually talk about it for too long because everybody fucking knows what it's about. But Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, it's just comes with 3 games. So just Crash 1, 2, and 3. It's just fucking excellent. Just really well remade. I must say, Crash 1, when I play it now as well, still feels a little bit off, but I think they based the movement more on Crash 2 and 3. Definitely, so when you get to 2 and 3, they feel right, but 1 feels just a little off. But no, fantastic games, fantastic remake. I also own that. I'm pretty sure I own it twice because I'm a fucking idiot on console and on PC. But highly recommend. So if you like 3D platformers and somehow if you like 3D platformers and haven't played Crash Bandicoot, I don't know what you're fucking doing. Definitely give that a blat. As a heap of fun, and once again, Game Pass, so low barrier of entry.
Try not to get filtered on the bridge level. And one.
Yeah, try not to on Road to Nowhere. It's one of them. That one could be a bit of a bastard. You can cheese it though. Standing on the rope on the side, you can jump on there and make it a bit easier for yourself. But if you do that, you will bring shame and dishonor upon your whole family, and you must commit Sudoku. So, just you have been warned. Something we should have done beforehand, Stephen. I wanted to talk about all the year in reviews and the game wrap ups and stuff, but maybe we do that on the next one if you still get access to them. Because there's I've played a little bit on everything this year on 4 platforms, so it would be good anyway to go through that.
Damn, you have 4 platforms?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny though, most of my time on the Switch is not me.
It's Keith.
Yeah, cheeky Keith. So what I want to talk about now though is just what we bought at the Steam sale. So mine's kind of chatting. There was a Steam sale just before like the new Steam sale, so most of my stuff I bought in there. But I have bought a couple of things. I haven't played most of it yet, but I bought Trepang 2. So that I've heard good things. It's a shooter that has a lot of praise. Indie shooter. Cursed Golf, little 2D roguelike little golf game that's a lot of fun, but it's really fucking difficult. So it's been fun. Friends vs Friends. I was trying to convince my mates in Discord to buy that. No one did except me, so that's real cool. Fuck you guys. But a little first-person shooter. So a heap of fun. Sunday Gold. Sunday Gold's a turn-based. Describe Sunday Gold. It's a turn-based game. It looks like it's quite story-rich, and it was on a really good sale. So I want to get around and playing that. I bought, which I know you have as well, Mega Man Battle Network Collection and Mega Man X Collection. Stealing your thunder on that one because you messaged me about Mega Man X Collection. I'm like, oh yeah, it's $30 bucks. Fuck it, or $35 something. So bought those. I bought Moss 2 VR game, so I'm looking forward to playing that. I still need to finish the first one, but I've made good progress on it. And I bought Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League because it was real fucking cheap. So they're going to be shutting down the servers soon, but they're making it so it is going to be able to be played offline. And I was like, I think the game was $5. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to buy that.
That's hardly money.
Yeah, hardly money at all. So I want to try that because I like Rocksteady, and my understanding is that the game, while it's not amazing, is that it's actually not as bad as people made it out to be. So I'll give that a crack. So what have you picked up at the sale? I'm just going to close this curtain because it's fucking the camera.
So what I got, and this is the mean part of meaning good, of getting Steam vouchers. So I got myself the Infinite Wealth DLC, the Big Swell. I completely, I understand why it has negative reviews or mixed reviews, because of one aspect. I thought, oh, that's real dumb. Is they locked. So when you finish Like a Dragon, you can do premium adventure, which is basically just you can carry on doing the side games and stuff. But they had in 7 Like a Dragon, just off the bat, you finish the game, it's like, cool, here you go, new game plus. But they paywalled that in Infinite Wealth, where it was bundled with the Big Swell DLC. And I was just like, you would have gotten Game of the Year if you didn't do that. 100%. 100%. But basically,
Look, I don't think 100%, but I think it would have helped them.
But Big Swell was basically just a DLC of just new dungeons that real test your ability to min-max. Like usually when I'll be just doing some run-throughs, I can cheese with a certain setup, but then you'll have bosses like, cool, this person is they are weak to stab damage, but also weak to water, and I was just like, I have no one in my party set up as a water person. Oh wait, yes I do. I still have one of the people as the housemaid, who attacks with a vacuum cleaner with water spells.
Dude, every time I hear stuff about Yakuza, I'm like, this sounds like a fucking fever dream.
Yeah. But
yeah.
the other one was, so I was like, I really want to go back and play the Mega Man Zero games. So I was like, okay, and I never got to play ZX or XZ Advent. So I was just like, screw it, it's on sale, I'm gonna dabble it. But then as I was like looking at it, I see a bundle, and it's the Zero collection with bundled together with the X collection 1, 2, but also the Mega Man X Dive, which was a gacha game where basically you're playing through Mega Man levels, but you're gacha pulling for different characters or different weapons and resources to level up those weapons. So the servers shut down, so what Capcom did is they decided to, we're just going to release an offline version. And so there's no pulling. All the currency you want to like buy characters, skins and stuff, you get through just running through the levels. And the fact that that was tacked on to the bundle, bundle was like $100 down to $35. It's like, that's a lot of value for games. Even though some people can like argue, it's just like, Zero Series being a little bit guilty of, number two is like number one, but slight changes. But the one big change that I think is real cool is you can play with a thing called Save Assist. And I don't think it's playing baby mode for this, where basically it's like there'll be these little portals that you go past, and if you die, you'll have to go back. You'll go back to there, or you can save from there. Because I think it was a design flaw when the games first came out on GBA. It's just like you have checkpoints, but it's like if you die X amount of times, lose your lives, it's like sweet, start from the start. So
Yeah.
I think, especially if it's like your first time wanting to experience the Zero series, which is cool. It's got an awesome art style done by, I think they're called like Inti Create. I'll quickly Google that, see if I said that right. Um, because they went on to do the Azura Striker Gunvolt games, which is basically the Mega Man Zero series, but they just don't have the license for it. So
Oh, sick.
this team like real excels in pixel art side scrollers with like light RPG elements to it.
Wicked. You get anything else in the sale?
Just those two.
You're like, yeah, so I picked up like 13 Mega Man games and
And I think I'll see.
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's not too far off my list really. It's mostly Mega Man games because of that. I got the Battle Network as well. And if you haven't played Battle Network, fucking play it because those games rule. They're so good. Love me some Battle Network.
1 and 2 are a little bit rough, but if you want to, I'd say a good diving in point is definitely 3. It has the skill system where it's basically you have a command line and you've got to play Tetris with rules. So you want to do like 20 more damage, cool, but here's your big cube that you need to fit, and it needs to be under a command line, and it can't be adjacent to this textured cube. So it's like, oh, and they also have this thing where in 3, which I love, you can put in a thing in the command line and it changes nothing gameplay related. In the Mega Man games, if you get lost, you can press like the select button and like Mega Man will give you a little bit of a hint. He'll be like, hey, we need to keep you on track. But if you put in this certain thing in the command line, instead of him giving you reminders of what you need to do, he tells puns and dad jokes.
Much more important.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's so much charm in those games. Can't believe they called you Lan.
Yeah.
God. But yeah, they're great.
Well, actually, it's because like they're all net themed, and in the Japanese version, his name's Neto.
Shut up, Wan.
Wham! And Mega Man's actually his brother, and his brother's name is Hub.
Oh. Yeah, but no, great series. I was kind of looking at news, and there just really isn't a lot of news since the Game Awards happened. Everything's been pretty quiet, which is great. But there's a couple of little things we want to talk about. So you haven't seen Secret Level yet, have you?
No!
No,
I want you to initiate me on it.
So I'm just going to kind of go through. There's 15 episodes. I'm not going to spoil too much, but I'll just talk a little bit about them and just my thoughts. So a lot of them, though. So the first one, the Dungeons and Dragons one, I really enjoyed. I thought that was good. But it ends right as there's about to be a scrap. And you're like, oh, come on, man. Come on, man. But it's really good. Good world setting, good story and stuff, because they're all pretty short. But enjoyable. Sifu is definitely one of the best ones. And what I love about the series so far as well, because it sounds like they're going to do another season at some point, is they gamified it. They were like, Sifu would get his ass beat and then would come back a little bit older, and then beat their ass and stuff. And by the end of it, he is an old man. And he's chatting with an old lady at a dumpling store. There's so much charm to it. Absolutely loved it. Sifu episode is awesome. New World, so that's the Amazon one. Characters voiced by Arnold Schwarzenegger. That episode's really fun. Doesn't make me want to play the game, but it was a really fun episode. Unreal Tournament. It's essentially it's a robot uprising, and then I was telling Alex, I was like, this one's based on an arena shooter. She's like, I don't see it in an arena. And then 2 minutes later, oh, there it is. Then they're literally fighting in an arena. That one's really good. The Warhammer 40k one is fucking great. They carry around this like coffin with them, and you don't know what it is. I won't tell you, and I won't spoil it from anyone. But then when they open the coffin, you're like, oh damn, that's wild. So definitely not what you think. Very, very good. Atmosphere was perfect. It was violent. Highly recommend. Pac-Man Circle. So this one, if you have seen the trailer for Shadow Labyrinth, this is based on that. I think my understanding is that they actually started making this short, and then they were like, oh wow, this is crazy, because they said you can do anything you want with Pac-Man. And they started making it, and then they're like, this is really cool. We actually want to make a game based on your idea, based on our idea. So yes, I believe that this actually came before the game Shadow Labyrinth. So this must have been in development for ages for this secret level. Very fucking weird. I really enjoyed it. Alex did not like it that much. She was like, what the fuck? And it is bizarre, but it's really good. Highly recommend. Crossfire, it wasn't bad, but you're like, I don't really know what this is. It's stupid. Something really dumb in it. Something that really annoyed me though. There was a team like, we don't kill him. We're not the bad guys, right? So they left this guy, and then the guys that said that then said guys like, no, don't send me off without the package. They'll kill me. That's not my problem. Like, so you're the good guys, so you won't kill someone, but you will happily send someone to their death. Like, I don't know. You can't be that fucking good. If you know, what's the difference really? You just didn't pull the trigger. Next one, Armored Core Asset Management. The first half's quite slow. I'm kind of like, get to the point, and then I heard a familiar voice in Keanu Reeves, and you're like, what? And then it's him, and then it becomes Armored Core, and he's fighting mechs and stuff. The ending is fucking wild. Really, really good. I want more. Highly recommend that episode. Also, as a From Software fanboy, of course I do, but yeah. Outer Worlds, The Company We Keep. That was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and it's kind of going through essentially a mega corporation or a guy who's trying to impress this girl who's a scientist, essentially, so puts himself in to get tested on and gets all sorts of fucked up. And there's this decision by one of the characters at the end, you're like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? So, but very, very good. Very, it was very lighthearted, but it was very dark, really. Alex actually started playing Outer Worlds the other day, and yeah, very much got the same vibe as the game. Mega Man Start, that was, I wanted more. It's one of the shortest ones. You get nothing. You don't see any robot masters or anything. It's like, oh, it's become Mega Man. It ends. And you're they gave me like nothing. So would like more from that.
So we went from man to Mega Man, and that's the end of it.
yeah, that's how he found his Mega.
Is it safe to say that it's basically Def Love and Robots, but with game IPs?
I think it's the same people.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Let me see. We got okay, Exodus, Odyssey. That one was really good. Based on that upcoming game, Exodus. Man is essentially trying to find his daughter, but they're showing you the years are changing, so it's time dilation stuff going through that. So when he finds his daughter, obviously she is much older, but that one was really good, really well done. Spelunky was very gamified, which was really cool. Wasn't my favourite, but I thought it was really well done. Definitely worth a watch. If you played Spelunky, there's a lot in there for you, and they very much go into like the roguelike thing of like carving on the wall of how many tries they've had, and these two characters interacting, and then she sees like, oh, this other person, why is this person so good? And then sees all the things carved in there, so no, she's had a million tries. So that's quite fun. Concord, just a good old Concord. That episode was quite good. And man, imagine if there was a game for this. That'd be crazy. And yeah, essentially it's a group of it's like a heist. It's a very like short like heist short film essentially. It was really fun. Saw a lot of cool in-universe stuff. And then at the end, it shows you kind of a couple of characters who were in the game, but all the ones that were in the short weren't actually in the game. Honor of Kings. There's a mobile MOBA, I'm pretty sure. This episode was really fucking good. I don't really understand what was happening as such, but it was really good. They had playing some bull game, and it's like you don't have any free will. You can't change anything. I already know what's going to happen. And then it's like, oh, so things are happening that I didn't expect. And I'm like, I don't really understand what's going on, but it was really well done. It was very entertaining. And there's a playtime fulfillment. So this was the PlayStation one. A lot of people said it was crap. I don't think it was crap, but it just wasn't that good. They were lazily throwing she's essentially like a courier, and she's like leveling up her bike, and it's like, you earned a new color, and she's like, oh man, this sucks. And then she starts going down, and she starts she gets attacked by Kratos for some reason. I don't fucking know. They just threw him in there, and then one of the Colossus from Shadow of the Colossus is in there, and you're like, oh, this is Sony just kind of throwing their IP in there. But it was, it just felt like, look at our IP, how cool are we? So it's a bit cynical, but it wasn't actually that bad. I thought it got a little bit overhated on. As someone who is very cynical, overall, I really enjoyed the series. As someone who's also, I love Death and Robots. Started off better than it became over time, but yeah, I think it's definitely worth a watch if you're a big Jamer like myself.
I think something that which would make you give it a 10 out of 10 is if they did something like a body horror version of like Super Meat Boy or Binding of Isaac.
I'd be into it, bro. I'd be so into it. That'd be
very
great.
Lovecraftian body horror.
Absolutely. I've got some Lovecraft for you in a little bit, actually. And it's nothing to do with his cat.
Oh. Don't look up his name.
Don't look up the name of the cat. Please don't do it. Something I was going to talk about. No, we don't need that one. Get that out of here. The Sony acquisition of Kadokawa. This one's going to be quick. So they were looking at acquiring the whole thing. They've acquired about 10% now. So they had some shares. They're now their largest shareholder, but they're not taken over completely. So yeah, they're the highest shareholder now. But I think they're also, them and Kadokawa don't want a hostile takeover to happen, so they want Sony to have a little bit of control in there. So yeah, probably not a heap more that's got to happen there. Maybe they buy another chunk of it down the track, but we'll see. There's been a bunch of Switch 2 leaks. So we had it with the D-Brand leak where they were, fuck it, here's our case, kill Switch 2. But there's been more and more leaks happening. So if you want to see images, if you type in Switch 2 leaks, you should be able to find them. But looks like the Switch 1, but a bit more
beefy.
Yeah. They're supposed to be magnetic controllers. Controllers look a little bit bigger on the sides, which is great because I got big white man hands, okay? I don't have small Japanese children hands. Not that Japanese men have children hands, but Japanese children have children hands. I can't use the Joy-Cons. It cramps my hands. It's just too small. So I've got third-party ones. So yeah, the fact that these are a little bit bigger, wicked. because I'll begin one because I'm an idiot, and I'll be like, yeah, can't wait to play the same game again in Pokemon, woohoo! But I'll do it.
He's playing it like this.
Yeah, I really do. I can't show, but look at these fucking mitts, bro. Look at this shit. These are big. These are big hands. So yeah, Joy-Con's no good for me.
Do you want to see the damage that the Joy-Cons did to my big meaty claws?
Go on.
So they're like this now.
He can't even grip his schmeat anymore.
I can't. It's that's the amount of gap I need. But yeah, Joy-Cons are not designed for people with the big hand.
No, that's it. So that's hopefully they are a bit more comfortable. We will see. We'll see next year. That sounds like it'll be happening.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing here I want to talk about is just, especially with with the Game Awards voting, then people were voting for their personal picks and stuff for Game of the Year and stuff, and it was most of it was like gacha games, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like, why are there so many? Like, you know, I would bet I played a little bit of Genshin, and then as soon as I beat the first major boss, I felt the grind set in, and I just quit playing immediately. I was like, I'm just not into a grind. It just doesn't do anything for me. So you know, you got Genshin, you got Zenless Zone Zero, you've got Hot Guy Star Rail, so Honkai Star Rail. So those are all by the same company. So it doesn't surprise me. But you said there's another one. What was the name of it?
Wuthering Waves.
Yeah, that one, which our mate who has spent many thousands of dollars of Genshin Impact, no joke, he was like, it's essentially just Genshin. So I was like, okay, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
But there's just becoming a lot of these gacha games that are getting popular. And I get as well, the appeal is that they cost you no money on entry, right? There's a low barrier to entry to get into them. But how do you feel about gacha games?
So I played Honkai Star Rail because of a mate, because he's got like I think it was like a Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, and he showed me playing it, and he's just like, dude, this, like, the amount of detail, and it's also a turn-based game, which is dope. The amount of detail in that is like, that's insane for a phone game. It's like, it's on computer as well. And I was like, fuck off. So I gave it a blat, and the amount of like detail they put into like story and stuff like that is just like, this is sort of takes a little bit of a steamer on some AAA games. Like, this is a gacha game, you know, Babby's first gambling game. It's like, but
Babby's first slot machine.
yeah, essentially. But I was just like, damn, they actually put in, like, I was so quick to, like, write it off, and I still think, like, gachas can, like, it's your money. Like, if you want to sink grands in it, like, who am I to judge? I don't think kids should really play it. But the fact that they're putting in, like, all this detail, they'll have this thing in Star Rail where it's like the story beats are great and you progress through the story, but then they will wall you off a little bit, being like, hey, you need to have your Star Rail level at level 30. And it's like, okay, I feel like I've hit a little bit of a wall, but there are like things you can do to level up over time. They even have like a roguelike mode in it. And again, the way I'm trying to take away from this is so easy to like write it off as like just a gambling game. But damn, they put a lot of effort into like their model animation, the music design, and the storytelling. And it's just like, dang, like if I reckon, like I myself, I spent money once, and that was for like the cheapest Game Pass, and basically all that did was like you get a little bit more bang for your buck
Oh, like a
on.
battle pass.
That's what I mean. You get a
Yep.
little bit more bang for your buck when it comes to your dailies,
Hmm.
essentially. So
That's all right. Yeah, but at the end of the day, like the companies, they put them out to make money, right? So you can min max that. Some of these games will be like, here's a $5 entry bundle, and you're like, oh, that is really good value, and that might be the bundle. If I'm going to spend money, I might buy that. But yeah,
at the end of
it's
the day, a free to play game's got them whether you agree or not. It's like it's free to play. They're making money somehow.
yeah, absolutely. It sounds like though that it's a good game. What actually put me off it, Gacha was one thing, but it was it's the anime aesthetic, it's the waifu collector part of it
Yeah,
that I'm like, I'm just not into that. Like I played the Fire Emblem mobile game for a bit, and that's got a lot of that stuff as well. But they were super generous with like the premium currency. They were so I'd never spend any money. But you get to that point where you're like, oh, you don't have this type of character, and there's enough power creep that it's like, oh, you want to spend money and buy these packs essentially, and you're like, oh, fuck, that's where they're getting you, or just grind out for an hour, and you're like, oh, I don't want to spend an hour grinding out. But Fire Emblem was a bit more generous than any of the other ones I've seen. That was Gacha that I've played that I enjoyed, and I think done well in that.
my
So
my brief dabble with Genshin, they pulled the meme on me where it's just like I pulled like this little girl that's like an ice exorcist, but she's like, oh, she's actually like 8,000 years old. It's like, fuck off. Fuck
get
off.
out of here,
Yeah,
pedophile.
yeah. I was just like, don't justify it.
Yeah, I hate that shit, bro. I hate that shit so much. Oh, this is my waifu? What the fuck? That's a child. She's actually an 8,000-year-old witch. You're like, fuck off, mate.
If she,
I
if
mean,
she
she's a
was
dragon, but she looks like an 8-year-old child. I hate that shit so much. It's unbelievable.
that, yeah, it did go to like freaking waifu farmer simulator. Like ZZZ had like a fair bit of it, and Hamish ragged me out for that. And he's just like, "Oh, are you disappointed that they've like nerfed some of the pervert stuff you can do, like the jiggle physics and like the upskirts?" I was like, "I'll have you know, I run a full male team."
Dude, you were. Most people would say you were doing it wrong. Hamish would be an all-woman team, absolutely. Wouldn't be one strand of chest hair on that team, mate. I guess you don't get that with a lot of the male characters in these games either, because everyone's so pretty.
But also a thing about Mahoi Minoi is they have three big games come out, and they all play vastly different.
Yeah, they're all aesthetically very similar in their design, but they're all very different gameplay. And I mean, did they use any of the same characters?
Not from not from ZZZ, I'm pretty
No,
sure.
because what kind of gameplay is ZZZ? Because I also, when I saw the trailer, I was like, this actually looks kind of good, but it was all the waifu stuff. I was like, oh, I'm just not, I'm just not here for it.
So this is I might get back into it, but something that I sort of was like, I'm getting a little bit tired of this, son. When it came to ZZZ, as the combat, mint. It is a wee hack and slash. You've got a team with you, but the whole thing is when a character is about to like a boss is about to lay in a heavy hit, they will shine. So you tap to tag out, and the other character will like come in and block the hit, but you're also building meter doing that. Combat, real fun. The only gripe I have with it is it's sort of broken. I was expecting I could just do back to back to back to back fights, but what it is a lot of the fights are broken up with this mini game where it's basically you have all these TVs on screen and your character is moving from screen to screen to screen. It's like, oh, you need to place a bomb here to destroy this block so you can traverse this way. It, it's sort of like two ideas. They make it fit in universe, but it is quite jarring because like I just want to play like a hack and slash with roguelike elements, but a
Yeah.
lot of the traversing is this like TV mini game, and some days just like, oh, I'm clever, I did this in X amount of turns, but other times like I just want to whack things. I don't want to puzzle.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I might. My backlog's so big, I'm not going to fucking play it. Don't even lie to myself. I genuinely look and I'm like, oh, that does look like fun. I'm like, nah, it ain't happening. I got other shit to play. So yeah, maybe if I clear out the backlog one day, I'll give it a go. But God, it never ends. It never ends. You heard all those fucking games added to my backlog.
Mm.
What am I doing? What am I doing with my life, Stephen? God.
Also,
I'm having an existential breakdown right here.
I checked out Curse Golf. I was like, this game sounds real cute. I look, it's like it's already on my wish list.
Hey, there we go. Dude, I swear, golf video games, like arcadey ones or simulator, all of it, how the fuck are they all so good?
When golf
Golf is-
itself,
Golf seems like it's alright. It's boring as fuck to watch, but it's okay to play. Like, you go, imagine, right, you and two of your boys out there chatting shit, whacking balls, not like that. Yeah, I can see golf being an enjoyable sport, but socially as well. But yeah, always golf with your friends, cursed golf.
everybody's golf.
The list goes on. There's actually so many. I'm gonna fucking pull it up. And we've got dangerous golf, golf club nostalgia. I think is that the puzzle game? I think it is. Yeah. Worms Crazy Golf, Golf Peaks, Golf Gang. All these games are great, man. I don't ever care for golf as a sport at all. Yeah, I'll probably watch Happy Gilmore too. All right, fucking sue me. But yeah, the golf games are really good, and you hear the PGA games are really good as well. Like, there's people that still play some of the PS1 games, golf games as well.
A little side tangent. There was like years ago, there was a point in time where like Nintendo were cracking out sports games using Mario. Like they had Super Mario Golf. But then for Game Boy Color, they had Super Mario Tennis, which is real funny because it was like top down like Pokemon, and you could like level up your stats. But the combat to it is you go to the courts and you play tennis.
Yeah, they released one on the Switch as well. It was kind of hard. Yeah, I enjoyed it though. Also, Topspin Tennis on the original Xbox went hard, went real good. Yeah, some of these sports games are good. And I can't remember if I gave this take last time. Fuck it. My controversial take is that Madden is a better video game than NFL as a sport. It's so fucking stop start. It takes like fucking 4 hours. But as a video game, you're the one also making the plays. You've got the playbook. You're telling the dudes what to do. I think it's actually I don't really care for sports games. I'm not going to play Madden. I did as a kid, but I actually think it's a great video game. Like from that perspective to play, I really do. As a sport, nah. I'm not going to sit in a stadium for fucking 4 hours and watch a play for fucking 20 seconds and then wait for fucking 2 minutes for them to make another play. I ain't fucking doing that.
Well, a mate was trying to like soft sell me on like because he loves playing the football games, and I was just like, nah. But then I saw there was like a soccer management sim game, and I was just like, maybe.
Just hilarious, man. One of my mates, this British guy, he's like, man, I turned 30, and he's like, I just immediately started playing Football Manager. There's something about it. It's like the most 30-year-old game. Like, as a kid, you're like, yeah, let's play FIFA. As a 30-year-old man, you're like, yeah, dude, I want to play Football Manager. I want to manage the club. I get it, though. I get the appeal. It's just not for me.
Actually, I tell a lie. There is one soccer game I would play, and it's It's called like Captain Subara. It's anime soccer.
Get out. Get
I
out.
was sold on one bit of gameplay, and that is a guy. What he does is he puts one foot on the ball, stands on it, and then he kicks the back of the ball with his other foot, and he's just riding it, like standing it, leaning back, just riding the ball. I was like,
It's a wild game.
that's kind of cool. It's very Japanese.
It does sound very Japanese. They might do some wild shit. Do they have that like outrageous like horse racing game?
Outrageous horse racing game.
Yeah. It was like a horse betting.
TAB
Yeah.
Simulator.
Yeah, that's the one. Let me see if I can find it. Japan World Cup.
God, I'll give this a look. Is it on Steam?
Oh, where is it? Japan World Cup 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, it's fucking wild. Anyone who's listening, look up Japan World Cup, the game. It's fucking wild. It's so wild.
Also,
Yeah.
anyone else, look up how have you seen the Japan versus China football poster?
I have not.
Alright, so what it is it's oh, you look it up and you tell me what you think.
Cool. So I gotta find that football poster. Man, Goku versus Wukong.
Yeah.
That actually goes so hard, bro. That's unbelievable.
The
What-
Goku in the distance Super Saiyan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually goes so fucking unbelievably hard.
And it's not fan art. That was part of like an official promotion.
Damn. Yeah, that's really cool. Japan won 3-1. Shout out to Japan. Dude, a complete side tangent. Japan is my... with the Rugby World Cup's on, of course I support New Zealand, but Japan is the team I support second because they just keep getting better and better. And they're not built like a lot of countries are for rugby. They don't have like massive hulking units like the same size, and they are just getting better and better every single like year. I mean, every single 4 years because it's World Cup. But yeah, that year they beat South Africa. You're like, what the fuck? Like that should never happen. That was the best team in the world at the time. I think South Africa won the World Cup that year. And so they got beaten by Japan in pools. You're like, how the fuck did this happen? They got spirit. They got soul, man.
Because I always think when it comes to rugby, it's just like not niche, but like the people who get amongst it the hardest. New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, and I always forget that Japan get amongst it to the point where I remember my mate, shout out Hamish. I remember years ago, he's at, I go around to his like, all right, we're watching a new anime. I was like, oh, what is this? And I'm not joking. It's a rugby anime.
Yeah, but what about Prince of Tennis?
The what? There's a prince of it?
Oh, I think there was an anime. I had a mate that was watching it. I'm like, why are you watching a tennis anime? Yeah, like, well, it's interesting with us in Australia because Australia, it's like their third or fourth most popular sport. So we're like, yeah, we beat Australia. They're like, yeah, we beat you in the cricket. We beat you in the Aussie. We beat you in the rugby league. You're like, yeah, but we beat you at your fourth best sport. So
Still a win. It's still a win.
it is. Fuck them, I say.
Hey, when are we gonna get an anime on something like curling or squash?
Dude, I keep saying dude. Fucking dude. Dude. I played, so not curling, but for a work do a couple of years ago, did lawn bowls. That shit went fucking hard. It was real fun.
Is that the same as petanque?
Nah, so petanque is like in a little wrist mat. Lawn bowls is like, you're rolling it. It's so hard. You throw like, you think you're bowling the lightest you can, and it's the grass, and it's technically, I found this out, it's technically not a grass, it's like a really fast growing weed that the only people in the country that can get their hands on it are the fucking like lawn bowls like commission
Association.
yeah, that you can only get it from certain people, and it can only be used because it grows so fast that if they were to plant it like anywhere else, like if you were to plant it right in your backyard, it would start growing over into the neighbor's property and everything. And it will do it within like weeks, and it just gets everywhere. So it's not a grass, so they have to be mowing it and fucking flattening it and stuff all the time. And there's no friction at all. So when you bowl it, you use the tiniest amount of force and you're going off the end. And then you have to be like, I have to use even less force than I think is my weakest amount. And you have to find the sweet spot. It's actually quite difficult. It took me about 3 games until I was not useless. My boss picked me because he was like, oh yeah, Lewis doesn't seem to be doing that well. He bowls it. I bowl my first one, it's average. And then he's being like real like, oh yeah, that was all right, mate. That's all right. It gets one pretty close. And then my bowl, knock his out of the way and just switch flicks A, and he's like competitive. And he's just like, and I beat him and he's so mad. And that was the game it clicked for me, because before that I was fucking useless.
I just like the idea of someone who manages to get the weeds into their property, and then like not long after he notices it's spewing into like rapidly into his next door neighbor's like fuck. So he's just campaigning hard to get everyone into lawn bowls.
Yeah. big strat.
It's
big brain.
Like being like a Bible thumper at the door. It's just like, have you heard of lawn bowl?
He's walking around there with a piece of lawn and a bowl.
He'd just be spiteful, but it's like, no, I think it's a silly sport. It's like, okay. And he just discreetly just chucks some onto the grass, and it just starts overtaking it.
And the seconds it's mutating.
Yeah.
Wicked.
Sports.
Sports. We love sports. We like sports, and we
don't care who knows.
That's the one. I was nearly there. That's an underrated Lonely Island song, that one. So, Steam review of the week. So, it's from a game I've been playing, Menace from the Deep, which I've been really into. Old Woman 1v1's Cthulhu single-handedly... Oh, no, there's a comma in there. Old Woman 1v1's Cthulhu single-handedly beats him to death with a walking stick while infesting him with spider eggs. 10 out of 10 game. And that's by... That review's from Default, spelled in elite speak. You know, that's how you know this guy's a gamer. Yes, so to get to what I'm playing, I play Menace from the Deep, which is very similar to like Slay the Spire, but it is inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. So you're fighting monsters, and there's townspeople that have been like either are in a cult or have been taken over by like, because Cthulhu and stuff does have cultists, so they're like cultists for him. So you get 3 characters to choose from. That all have different kind of qualities. Like one of them is all about inflicting bleed on them, but they all have 6 decks, so you can play them quite differently. So one of his other subtypes was sub. You say sub? Yeah, I don't know. Fuck it. I'll say what I want. It's my podcast. I'll say what I want. One of subclasses. That's better. There we go. Would be when things are on like low health, deal more damage to them, and so on. So you want to get them low, just to be able to crit kill them, essentially. Another one that specializes in summoning. So there's an archetype you summon rats, or you summon birds, and there's other things you can end up getting cards for summoning spiders. 8 girl. So you can do phone. I'm not talking to you. Shut the fuck up. I guess when I heard a girl was like, oh, you mean Google? No. I know. I did not say that. Yeah, and the one, so you can get spiders and stuff to summon as well, so that's quite fun. And then the subclass I quite liked with that was you can apply armor to them as well, so you want to protect them. And the first one is... what's the specialty? I've played it so many times. He's just, to be fair though, the first one is the least exciting, the most standard, kind of like Slay the Spire, like the warrior and stuff, and you can have an armor stacking one and so on. So how it works, you get into battle, you kind of, have you played Slay the Spire? Have you seen it?
I've like through you and multiple people just sing its praises.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. So in Slay the Spire, you've got like a map and you've got paths you can take, and then you'll see on the map like, oh, this one's a skull, so it's going to be an enemy, or there was an elite. So this one you've got a stack of three cards, and you can go to an encounter, or you can fight an elite enemy, or you go to fuel up because you need to keep fuel in your car, because that's a lose condition. If you don't put fuel in the car, you'll lose. So you go, okay, I'll go here, have an encounter. So you draw your cards. Every card can be leveled up. So by using it, you'll get 1 XP on the card is on the top of it. So you want to tactically use the cards like, oh, this one I've maxed it out in this battle. So at the end of the battle, you'll level it up. So you're like, I'm going to use this other one to get the XP on it. So your deck's getting constantly stronger, even if you're not adding or removing cards, because your cards are leveling up. And then your cards have paths that they can go down. So you can be like, I want to add bleed to this, or this one I want to add more. It's a defensive one. I want to add more armor to it, or stuff like that. So just depending on what kind of character you're playing and what kind of like subclass you're playing and build you're doing, you're going to do that. And there is also, I can't remember what it's called, but it's essentially like an insanity meter. So when you're fighting the big enemies, a lot of the time, they will like take away from like your sanity kind of points. It's got a little brain, which is also a lose condition. So there's places you can go with the right card to go to like the hospital or the clinic or whatever it is, and you can go pay some money and get some of those points back. So some characters have more than others and so on. Playing defensively, you're more likely for that to go down because the enemies will whittle that down from you, especially the big ones like Cthulhu's. Like, I'll take 3 of those points away from you. Like, come on, man. What you doing, man? Which makes sense. I imagine seeing Cthulhu would fuck your day up. And yeah, you slowly progress. There's essentially 3 days, which is 3 major bosses to get through. And there's on the way, there's like merchants and things, so you can buy items. And I think every item, maybe there's a couple that don't, but pretty much every item, they come in a set of 3. So the idea is you want to get the ones that work for you, but also you want to find the 3 because then they give you a 4th secret item, essentially. You get a legendary item for collecting the 3 in the set. So you're trying to go there, you go into the museum to get the artifacts and so on, and you're like, cool, I want the cat artifact and the lion artifact and so on, and then you're like, you got all of them, you get the elephant artifact, and you get the perks of all the other 3 plus the 4th one. Yeah, so then you're just essentially powering up to try to beat the big bosses, and at the end is Cthulhu because it's an H.P. Lovecraft inspired game. So if you like your deck builders, if you like Slay the Spire, if you like roguelikes, this is definitely worth playing. Some people, I saw the reviews are still quite positive. I think it's 85%. Some people are like, that game sucks, doesn't have the same depth as Slay the Spire. And you're like, yeah, but this game's I still believe it's early access. They're still adding a lot to it. It feels like a pretty complete game as it is. But yeah, I mean, I've put in a pretty short period of time, like, let me just find out, because it's a good background game while I do other shit. I put 15 hours into it. Just a chill game while I do other things on the computer and stuff as well, or YouTube. So I highly recommend Menace from the Deep. I love the H.P. Lovecraft aesthetic as well. So yeah, I definitely recommend that. My other one's going to be much quicker. I finished Sonic Mania on my ROG Ally in bed, so that was fun. I stand by. I think it's the best Sonic game, so recommend that. I've started playing Half-Life Alyx again, so I've been playing a little bit of VR but I haven't spent too much time on it yet. So I want to be doing that actually this afternoon. And I need to finish Flintlock because I'm like 70% of the way there. I just need to fucking pull the trigger and finish it. So, right, mate. What are you playing? What's on the cards?
Well, I just want to sort of circle back to Lovecraftian things, and wouldn't it be awesome if they create a game? It don't really mind what genre it is, but you beat the final boss in it, and then like some oracle was like, you have beaten our strongest titan or whatever, and it's just like, but I have one last requirement from you, and the game prompts up, and it's like, what is the name of H.P. Lovecraft's cat? And you type in the answer, you press enter, and it just shuts down, and the game just uninstalls itself.
Yeah.
And you get
You're flagged as a racist for
yeah,
life.
yeah.
Somehow, partway through that, I'm like, I know where he's going with this. Because I'm like, what about a game inspired by the works of H.P. Lovecraft, but it's like a Souls-like? Oh, it's Bloodborne. It's just Bloodborne. I actually love with this stuff though, where at the start you're like, it's like Bloodborne. It's like it's dark. It's like Victorian era, like dark fantasy stuff. You know, oh, and then it becomes the other side of Lovecraft, where it's like aliens. It's dude, there's something about that. At first, you're like, "What the fuck, aliens?" And then you actually read a little like Lovecraft stuff. You're like, "Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense." Like,
Aliens.
yeah. So what are you playing? You're so I'm playing Infinite Wealth.
Well, actually, I've been, and this is the dope thing about if you buy a collection. Like I've been chopping changing through the Mega Man Zero collection,
Yeah.
and I went straight to two because I remember one was um, a lot of leap of faith that you had to do,
Oh
and
yeah.
there were some design flaws which two manages to even iron out. I am having this thing though, so if you finish the level at a certain time and you don't die too many times, you get a score at the end of it, and I managed to get an A ranked, which was something's like awesome warrior, and I was like, man, so you're carrying that ranking towards the next boss. But the problem, it's not really a problem if you care about rankings, is in two, you can unlock different forms. So like, but they are, especially if like your score is time based, like to get the X form, which makes you blue and buffs your charge shot, you have to kill 50 enemies with your Buster shot.
Oh yeah.
And so to get the Rise form, you have to, it's like, oh, you have to attack, you have to kill 20 enemies mid-air with a mid-air slash. Or another form, you got to kill X amount of enemies doing a dash slash, which is fine, but especially something like getting the X form, which I'm pretty sure which drops my rating down to like C, is because it does that old school thing of you move off the screen to a new screen, but then when you go back, the enemies have respawned. So you can farm and like level up your equipment that way. But that's how I was grinding out getting the X form. But yeah. But
Wicked.
also I decided to jump into the XZ series. The first one, it frustrated me a little bit because it's very Metroidvania, and you have like a little map, and the map isn't the easiest to follow. So there's, long story short, lots of backtracking. But I'll give it another shake, and then I went into X7 Advent, and it had animated sequences, like animated cutscenes, hokey ass dub, where the voices are real goofy, and I was just like, that is goofy. But also, I can see there's a lot of love being made in this, and I
A
got
lot of love
filtered at
being made. Interesting.
bah,
A lot
bah,
of,
bah.
a lot of fucking going on, eh?
Yeah. But they call it Mega Man Zero because it's like Mega Man Zero come left in the tank. That's how much love there is.
Damn. Hey, good to know.
But
Good to know.
I got filtered by the first boss in XZ Advent, and I was just like, these games are actually difficult because a lot of them is, hey, recognize their attack pattern and just dash all the way over to this corner till they've stopped throwing a tantrum. Cool. Now you can whack them twice, run away. So yeah, it's
Wicked.
I recommend it especially because being raised on Mega Man games, and I would play the Zero games as they came out. I love the idea. I love that what Capcom are doing with some of their dormant IPs is just re-releasing collections of them.
Dude, they do
Especially,
they're the best at collections, eh? For sure.
I also my headcanon on why they did the Battle Network series is because that One Step from Eden game,
Oh
where it's
yeah,
just like
that makes sense.
you've got an idea that you're just sitting on and you're doing nothing with. So we're gonna like be heavily inspired and do it. And Capcom was like, we want that money. So
Give me the money.
yeah, and then they re-release it, and it turns out that's what people wanted. It sold, from what I remember, it sold pretty well.
Yeah, considering I don't think it cost them a lot to port it. So
No,
yeah, yeah, we wanted it for years. I played the Battle Network games literally on emulator because
yeah,
they were not really a big thing in New Zealand. I don't remember actually even seeing them in store.
no.
So everyone I knew that played them emulated them because we didn't really have much of an option. So yeah, it's nice that now I own them, and one of these days I will go through them.
And I think the problem with the Battle Network series, and tangent, but um, they were pumping out the games quite quick and not changing much about it.
Yeah,
And I feel just there was a little bit of because not long after they did that, they went on to Star Force, which
yeah,
is like their DS version. But I think it got to the point where like the demand in Mega Man, the Battle Network games, like everyone got quite exhausted over it. That there was like a couple of games that they was like, nah, we're not gonna bring them, we're not gonna bring them to the West. They're not gonna sell.
yeah. I think it was that people kind of like it was all too much. Because did you play Star Force?
I played a little bit of the first one.
Yeah, I never dabbled. I didn't even know about them until probably like earlier this year. I heard about Star Force. I'm like, what? So yeah, but looks interesting. Dude, what was the? I heard there was a Mega Man RPG recently, like
An old one,
yeah, PS2 era.
X Command Mission.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you ever dabble that?
yeah. Oh, I did. I went the emulation route, but yeah. Um, I gotta say, are you looking up pictures of it?
Yeah.
That is the best armor X has ever worn, with like the laser scarf.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That the game looks pretty good as well, actually. Like aesthetically, I quite like that. Um, yeah, I heard
They were,
so. Someone was comparing it to Final Fantasy X, and you're like, "Oh man, is Mega Man X Command Mission really that good?" But fuck, it could be.
they did with. So the interesting thing is with the PS2 version, it has a lower, less frequent enemy encounter rate.
Mm.
But with the GameCube version, it did that. If you had a Game Boy Advance, you could use the Game Boy as like an item scanner. Like it will be showing you items on your map.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah.
It's really cool, though. It's Nintendo love doing stuff like that. Like, here's this ad, or here you can plug your Game Boy into this console and do a thing, and yeah, it's cool. It's not necessary, but it's cool. They always love a gimmick. I do hear the rumor for the Switch 2, though. Well, because it is going to be something like Switch 2. Probably not adding a bunch of like another gimmick as to it as such. There might be something, but people are mad. They're like, oh, Nintendo, we like when they do different things. It's like, yeah, look at the PlayStation. They go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, come on. What's the PS5 but just a beefier PS4 at the end of the day? It really doesn't do that much different. It plays games better, that look better.
Something that's because of you that's been living rent free in my head.
Not me. No.
Yeah, no, it was you.
No.
Because I thought about it and I was like, yeah, but then when you brought it up, I was like, nah, he's absolutely right, and that's just how shit and cheap the PS3 controllers felt.
Yeah, I'm a hater. I'm a hater of the PS3 controller. PS4 controller, that was a step in the right direction. Oh man, I just realised I've got controllers over here I could have used as examples.
This guy. This fucking guy.
This dusty ass shit though. PS4 controller. I still think the PS5 is much nicer, but I was like, this is a step in the right direction. This doesn't feel too uncomfortable.
Some games utilise the trackpad.
Yeah, Switch, bro. Look at Joy-Cons in my fucking hands. Look, this is what I was talking about earlier. Audio listeners, sorry, but look how much I've got to crane that back. That's not in a comfortable spot. Yeah, Joy-Con hater.
Oh, but also speaking of hating Joy-Cons, is when you
I hate joy.
Yeah, it's a con. No, you've just got the one controller, and then it's like, mate comes around, you want to do some Mario Kart. It's like, oh, that's right, we can just hold the Joy-Cons like this, and you're just like, I literally feel like I'm playing a baby's toy because it's so small in my hand.
Yeah, I'll be like, no, I'm using the Pro controller. You can use crap. Yep. Anyway, mate, are you playing anything else, or is that just those Mega Man games and stuff at the moment?
Mega Man, going through the Big Swell Infinite Wealth DLC. It is basically just new dungeons, but also, yeah, it's making me min-max. I'm probably going to have to start crafting new weapons for my teammates.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it's quite easy to get bodied, especially when it does I think it's Dragon Quest and Persona do this, I could be wrong, where it's fine if your teammates get knocked out, killed, but if Ichiban, your main guy, gets killed, it's a game over.
Yeah. But anyone else can be KO'd and it's fine?
Yeah.
Cool. Wicked. All right. So I believe that's all we've got for you for another No Scrubs podcast. So once again, any feedback's appreciated, and yeah, that'll do us. All right, anyone who's still listening, thank you very much. We thought we had no content for this episode, and this one went almost an hour longer than the first one. So how the fuck did that happen?
Yeah, before we did this, it was like, yeah, it's probably going to be a short one today, and I'm looking at things like, oh, it's nearly
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Wild. So, right, anyway, thanks. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for the support. All right, catch you on the next one.
Bye.